Break the Cycle: How to End Negative Habits and Rewire Your Brain. Written and published by Sonic Digest. Every life is shaped by a series of choices, often imperceptible at the time, but powerful in their impact. The small, seemingly insignificant decisions that accumulate over the years quietly form the patterns and habits that govern our existence. What you choose today will create the foundation for who you become tomorrow. It's easy to think that change requires a grand gesture, a monumental shift in direction, but true transformation starts with something simpler: a choice to look at your life with new eyes, a decision to embrace the possibility of becoming someone new. At the core of transformation lies a powerful force: your mind. It holds the key to unlocking the life you desire, yet for many it remains a mystery, a vast terrain left unexplored. This force is not about sheer will or external motivation, but about understanding the patterns of thought and behavior that shape your reality. It's about learning how to shift those patterns, how to rewrite the blueprint of your mind, and how to awaken your potential in ways that are both subtle and profound. Transformation is not a destination, but a process. A journey that unfolds as you begin to peel back the layers of conditioning and limitations that have defined you. It's about breaking free from the stories you've told yourself, the beliefs you've inherited, and the habits you've adopted without questioning them. It's about stepping into a space where anything is possible, where your potential is not just something you read about, but something you experience with every step you take. The mind is endlessly capable of growth, but it requires intention. Without it, we remain stagnant, repeating the same cycles, trapped in the routines and thoughts that keep us tethered to who we once were. To break free from this cycle requires more than desire. It demands action, persistence, and a commitment to change. It's about rewiring the way you think, feel, and behave so that you can operate from a place of power, clarity, and alignment with your true self. Change is not easy, but it is inevitable. With each passing moment, you are either growing or staying the same. This is the paradox of life. We are never truly static. But in this constant state of flux, we hold the power to steer our growth in any direction we choose. The question is not whether change will come, but how we will respond to it. Will you allow it to be a passive force, or will you embrace it as the powerful ally it is, transforming you into the person you are destined to become? This journey is for those who are ready to take control, who are willing to dive deep into the psyche and confront what has been buried beneath the surface. It's for those who understand that to change the outside world, we must first transform the inner world. It's a path that requires courage, patience, and above all, the belief that you are capable of becoming the best version of yourself, no matter where you are starting from. The future is not a far-off destination. It is something you create with every thought, every decision, every action. This is your moment to begin shaping it. Chapter 1. Uncovering the roots of your patterns. The habits that shape your life are more than just behaviors. They are the result of deeply ingrained patterns that often stem from past experiences, beliefs, and emotions that influence how you respond to the world around you. These habits, both positive and negative, are not merely the actions you take each day. They are the products of the subconscious forces that drive those actions. To break free from patterns that no longer serve you, it is crucial to uncover their origins and understand the deep-seated influences at play. Every choice you make, from the smallest decision to the largest, is influenced by a series of internal processes. These processes have developed over time, starting with the way you were raised, the culture you grew up in, and the people you interacted with during your formative years. Your mind has absorbed information from your environment and has internalized it, often without your conscious awareness. These mental blueprints, created from these early experiences, continue to inform your thoughts, feelings, and decisions as an adult. The subconscious mind is where these deeply held beliefs and patterns reside. It's like the operating system of your brain, running in the background, influencing your actions, attitudes, and emotions without you even knowing it. This system is built through repetition, repeated thoughts, repeated experiences, and repeated reactions. Over time, what might have started as a response to a specific event or situation becomes a default reaction to similar situations. This is the root of many of your habits, both constructive and destructive. When you take a closer look at these patterns, you may begin to see how they have shaped your behavior. The unconscious adoption of certain habits often stems from an attempt to protect yourself from perceived threats or discomforts. For instance, the habit of avoiding difficult conversations may have begun as a way to avoid conflict during childhood, but as you grow, it manifests in your adult relationships, preventing open and honest communication. Similarly, a tendency to overeat or procrastinate can be linked to deeper emotional needs, such as the need for comfort or the fear of failure that were formed long ago. Understanding the origins of these patterns allows you to step back and observe them from a place of awareness rather than being controlled by them. This awareness opens the door to change. The first step in transforming your habits is recognizing that they are not fixed parts of who you are. They are learned behaviors that can be unlearned with the right tools and mindset. Your subconscious mind also operates through a system of reinforcement. Each time you make a choice, the consequences of that choice reinforce the belief or pattern that led to it. For example, if you procrastinate and avoid starting a task, you might feel temporary relief, which reinforces the habit. But this relief is often short-lived, leading to stress and frustration down the road. The more you continue to make these choices, the more ingrained the pattern becomes. The key to breaking this cycle is to disrupt it by making conscious, intentional choices that challenge the beliefs driving the habit. To truly uncover the roots of your patterns, it's important to examine the deeper motivations behind your actions. Why do you make the choices you do? What emotions or beliefs are at the core of your decisions? Often these answers lie buried beneath layers of surface-level thoughts and reactions. By practicing mindfulness and self-reflection, you can begin to uncover the emotional triggers and underlying fears that drive your behavior. The journey to breaking free from limiting habits is not an easy one, but it is incredibly empowering. When you begin to see the connections between your past and your present, you realize that you have the power to create new, healthier patterns. It takes time, patience, and practice, but by uncovering the roots of your patterns, you free yourself from their grip and open up the possibility for transformation. To move forward, it is vital to recognize that your habits don't define you. They are simply the result of past conditioning. And just as you learned those habits over time, you have the ability to unlearn them and create new, more empowering behaviors. The process of change begins with awareness, but it requires conscious effort and commitment to reshaping the habits that have held you back for so long. By taking responsibility for your choices, you step into your power and begin to create the life you truly desire. Chapter 2. The Hidden Power of Neural Pathways. The brain is an intricate web of connections, constantly adapting and reorganizing based on the information it processes. At the heart of this dynamic process are neural pathways, structures that form the foundation of our habits, behaviors, and thoughts. These pathways are the result of repeated experiences and choices, creating mental patterns that dictate how we interact with the world. However, while these pathways can feel ingrained and automatic, they are not set in stone. With the right focus and intention, the neural circuits that shape our lives can be rewired, allowing us to break free from old patterns and embrace new possibilities. Every action you take, every thought you think, reinforces a specific neural pathway. Imagine each thought as a traveler on a well-worn path through the forest. The more this thought is repeated, the clearer and more defined the path becomes. Over time, the brain becomes efficient at following these well-trodden routes, making the behaviors associated with them almost automatic. This efficiency is crucial for survival. It allows us to perform daily tasks without needing to consciously think about every step. However, the very same process that makes our brain efficient can also trap us in negative cycles, reinforcing habits that no longer serve our best interests. When you repeat an action or thought consistently, the neural pathway connected to that behavior becomes stronger. This is why habits can be so difficult to break. They are the result of these reinforced connections. Yet this same process of reinforcement can be harnessed for positive change. By introducing new behaviors and deliberately focusing on different patterns of thought, you can begin to create alternative pathways that grow stronger over time. The brain's plasticity, the ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, provides the key to this transformation. Neuroscientists have long understood that the brain is not a rigid structure, but a malleable one, capable of adapting to new experiences and learning new skills throughout life. This plasticity is what makes it possible to break old habits and create new ones. But this change does not occur overnight. Just as it takes time for a worn path to become deep and ingrained, it also takes time to create new neural pathways that will eventually replace the old ones. Intention plays a critical role in rewiring the brain. The simple act of consciously deciding to alter your behavior begins the process of change. By focusing your attention on the new habits you want to form, you begin to engage the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and goal-setting. This conscious effort directs the brain's energy toward new behaviors, gradually forming the neural connections needed to support them. Consistency is equally important. Just as a path in the forest becomes more pronounced with each step, new neural pathways are strengthened through repeated action. Initially, these new pathways may feel weak and inefficient, much like an untraveled road. However, with repeated effort, they grow stronger, and the behavior becomes more automatic. As the old pathways begin to weaken, the new ones become the default routes your brain follows, changing the way you think, act, and respond to the world. The process of rewiring the brain also involves creating a feedback loop. Positive reinforcement, whether through rewards or simply recognizing the progress you've made, strengthens the new neural connections. This loop of action, feedback, and reinforcement accelerates the process of change. The more you acknowledge and celebrate your efforts, the more you reinforce the new pathways you are trying to establish. But even with the best of intentions, the brain's natural resistance to change can present challenges. The deep-set neural pathways associated with old habits can feel like powerful forces, pulling you back into familiar patterns. In these moments, it's crucial to stay patient and persistent. Change is often uncomfortable at first, and the brain resists unfamiliar territory. However, with time, the discomfort begins to fade as the new pathways become stronger and more automatic. One of the most profound aspects of the brain's plasticity is that it is not limited by age. Whether you are in your 20s or your 70s, the brain continues to have the ability to form new neural connections and adapt to new experiences. This means that no matter where you are in life, it is always possible to alter the pathways that define your habits, thoughts, and behaviors. The power to change your life is not found in external forces, but within your own brain. By consciously focusing on new behaviors, practicing them consistently and reinforcing the new pathways with intention, you gain the ability to reshape your reality. The brain's capacity for change is vast, and when you tap into it, you unlock the potential to create new habits, new ways of thinking, and a new version of yourself that is more aligned with your true desires and aspirations. Chapter 3. Breaking free from your old self. The identity you hold of yourself is one of the most powerful forces shaping your behavior. It acts as the lens through which you view the world and influences every decision you make. However, many individuals find that their identity has become tied to the very behaviors and patterns they want to change. This connection between self-perception and behavior can become a prison, trapping them in cycles of negativity that prevent growth. Breaking free from this old self requires a deep re-examination of the narrative you tell yourself and the willingness to let go of the person you have been in order to become the person you are capable of being. Your identity is not fixed. It is fluid and malleable, continuously shaped by your experiences, choices, and the stories you tell yourself. If you have repeatedly engaged in self-destructive behaviors, there is a tendency to identify with those actions. You might see yourself as someone who is lazy, unworthy, or destined to fail. These labels, though they feel true in the moment, are not who you are. They are the result of repeated choices that have been given more significance than they deserve. When you tie your identity to negative behaviors, you allow them to define you, making it nearly impossible to break free. The first step in breaking free from this limiting identity is recognizing the false connection between who you think you are and the habits you've developed. Understanding that your past actions don't define your worth opens the door to transformation. You are not your failures or mistakes. You are a person capable of change, growth, and reinvention. This realization is liberating, as it allows you to detach from the labels that have held you back and gives you permission to evolve into the person you want to become. Shifting your self-perception begins with questioning the stories you've internalized. How often do you tell yourself that you are incapable of change or that you will always be stuck in your current patterns? These stories become self-fulfilling prophecies, reinforcing the belief that change is impossible. To break free, you must reframe the narrative. Start by acknowledging your strengths, the lessons you've learned, and the potential within you to grow. This shift in focus, from past mistakes to present possibilities, is essential for creating a new self-image that supports your desired transformation. A significant part of this process is recognizing the role of fear and insecurity in maintaining the old identity. Fear of failure, rejection, or not living up to expectations can make it feel safer to remain in the comfort of familiar negative behaviors. This fear is often an illusion, created by the mind's tendency to hold on to the known, even if it is painful or limiting. Facing this fear requires courage, the courage to step into the unknown, to challenge the old self and the old ways of thinking, and to embrace the discomfort of growth. The shift in self-perception also involves adopting a mindset that is open to possibility. When you view yourself through a lens of potential rather than limitation, you create space for change. Instead of seeing setbacks as evidence that you cannot succeed, you begin to view them as stepping stones on the path to progress. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity for growth, a chance to learn something new about yourself and your abilities. This mindset change is a powerful tool in reshaping your identity and creating the life you desire. Breaking free from your old self requires patience and persistence. It is not enough to simply recognize the need for change. You must consistently take action that reflects your new identity. Each time you make a decision that aligns with your desired self, you reinforce the new perception of who you are. Over time, these actions become more natural and the old behaviors lose their grip on you. As your self-perception shifts, you will begin to see evidence of your transformation in the way you interact with others, in your accomplishments, and in your overall sense of well-being. One of the most significant shifts in identity comes from embracing the idea that you are a work in progress, not a finished product. The journey to self-improvement is ongoing, and the person you are becoming is just as important as the person you were. When you let go of the need for perfection and accept that growth is a process, you free yourself from the weight of unrealistic expectations and the pressure to conform to a static version of yourself. This acceptance fosters self-compassion, allowing you to treat yourself with kindness during times of struggle rather than with judgment or harshness. In the process of breaking free from your old self, it's also crucial to recognize the power of your environment. The people, places, and situations you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your sense of self. To support your transformation, seek out relationships and experiences that align with the person you want to become. This may involve letting go of toxic influences or embracing new communities that encourage growth and positivity. The right environment will help reinforce your new identity and provide the support you need to stay committed to your journey. Ultimately, breaking free from your old self is an act of self-liberation. It is about shedding the limitations you've imposed on yourself and stepping into a new identity, one that reflects your true potential and aspirations. By recognizing that your past does not define you and taking consistent steps toward the person you want to be, you create the space for change. This is the beginning of a powerful transformation where you break free from the old and embrace the new. Chapter 4. Understanding the mind's resistance to change. Change is often met with resistance, not just from external forces, but from within. The mind, despite its vast potential for growth, is wired to prioritize familiarity and predictability. This resistance to change is not a sign of weakness or failure, it is simply a mechanism of survival. The brain, in its natural state, seeks comfort, safety, and routine, qualities that provide stability and minimize perceived threats. Yet when you push for transformation, the mind's instinct to protect the status quo can trigger discomfort, anxiety, and even self-sabotage. To understand how to move past these barriers, it is essential to grasp the deeper psychological forces at play. The mind's primary goal is to conserve energy and maintain a sense of equilibrium. The familiar is always more comfortable than the unknown because it allows the brain to operate on autopilot. Neural pathways that have been formed over time are like well-worn tracks in a forest. They represent patterns, behaviors, and ways of thinking that have been reinforced through repetition. These pathways are efficient, automatic, and require little conscious effort. When you attempt to step off the beaten path and forge a new way forward, the brain resists this change. It perceives the unfamiliar as a threat to its energy reserves and survival. This resistance is rooted in the deep evolutionary drive for safety. Thousands of years ago, humans survived by sticking to familiar patterns, traveling established routes, relying on known food sources, and avoiding unfamiliar environments that could pose dangers. While the context of modern life has drastically changed, the brain's instinct to maintain safety and avoid risk remains. The discomfort you feel when attempting to change is not necessarily about the actual change, but rather about your brain's deep-seated fear of uncertainty. At the same time, change often forces you to confront vulnerabilities, parts of yourself you may not want to face. It can bring to light limiting beliefs, unresolved fears, or unacknowledged emotions that have been buried beneath the surface of your habitual life. These internal conflicts create further resistance, as the mind may not want to confront these aspects of the self. Change, in this sense, represents a confrontation with the unknown, not just externally, but also within. Additionally, the mind is often anchored in the past, especially when it comes to beliefs and patterns that have been reinforced over time. Past experiences, both positive and negative, shape the way we view the world. If you have faced failure or disappointment in the past, your mind may resist change because it associates the future with the same outcomes. It can be a challenge to break free from this cycle because the brain continually draws on past experiences to predict future results. This bias, known as the confirmation bias, leads us to seek out evidence that reinforces what we already believe to be true, even if those beliefs are limiting or inaccurate. The process of change often stirs up discomfort because it forces the mind to question its current narrative. Letting go of an old self-image or established way of thinking can feel like a loss, even if the change is ultimately for the better. The mind tends to identify with its patterns, and breaking away from them feels like a threat to its sense of identity. This discomfort is magnified when the change involves stepping into a new version of yourself that is unknown and unfamiliar. The fear of the unknown is one of the strongest driving forces behind resistance to change. Understanding these dynamics is essential to addressing the mind's resistance. First, it is important to acknowledge that resistance is not a personal failure, but a natural reaction to transformation. The key is to recognize that this discomfort is part of the process and not an indication that you are on the wrong path. Resisting the resistance only adds to the cycle of discomfort. Instead, the goal is to lean into the discomfort and accept it as a sign of growth. One of the most effective ways to deal with mental roadblocks is to reframe your perspective on change. Instead of viewing it as a loss or a threat, begin to see it as an opportunity for expansion. Every time you confront discomfort, you are expanding your capacity to handle new situations, new challenges, and new aspects of yourself. Change, in this sense, becomes a tool for strengthening your resilience and broadening your horizons. The discomfort is the growing pain of the new self emerging, and with each step forward, the discomfort begins to subside. Another powerful strategy is to break the change down into smaller, more manageable steps. The mind is more likely to resist large, overwhelming shifts because it triggers a sense of being out of control. By focusing on small, incremental changes, you reduce the threat the brain perceives. Each small success builds momentum and creates positive feedback, gradually reshaping the mind's resistance into a more supportive role. By moving step by step, you allow the brain to adjust to the new patterns without overwhelming it. Visualization also plays a significant role in overcoming mental roadblocks. By imagining yourself successfully navigating through the discomfort and achieving your desired outcome, you create a mental blueprint of success. This visualization reinforces positive neural pathways and helps the brain reframe its perception of change from something to fear into something achievable. The more vividly you can imagine yourself succeeding, the more the brain begins to accept the new reality you are creating. The practice of mindfulness can also help in dealing with resistance. Mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, which is crucial when negative or fear-based thoughts arise during periods of change. Instead of getting caught up in the anxiety and self-doubt that resistance brings, mindfulness teaches you to acknowledge those thoughts and let them pass without allowing them to dictate your actions. In doing so, you create space between the thoughts and your actions, allowing you to make choices based on your goals rather than your fears. Finally, it's essential to cultivate self-compassion during times of change. The process of transformation can be difficult, and the mind's resistance can make it feel even more challenging. Being kind to yourself during moments of discomfort or failure is crucial. Instead of criticizing yourself for struggling, offer yourself the same compassion you would offer a friend going through a difficult time. Self-compassion helps soften the resistance and creates a more supportive internal environment for growth. The mind's resistance to change is not an obstacle, but a natural part of the human experience. By understanding the root causes of this resistance and using strategies like reframing, visualization, mindfulness, and self-compassion, you can navigate the discomfort and move toward the transformation you desire. Change is not easy, but it is always possible. With the right tools and mindset, you can overcome the mental roadblocks that stand in your way and begin to create the life you envision. Chapter 5. Rewriting your brain's blueprint. The brain is not a static organ. It is an ever-evolving network, continuously adapting to the experiences and actions we engage in. This remarkable capacity for transformation is known as neuroplasticity, a process that allows the brain to reorganize itself, forming new neural connections in response to learning, habit, and intention. Harnessing this ability can radically reshape the patterns and beliefs that govern your life, enabling you to rewrite your brain's blueprint and create lasting change. The traditional view of the brain as a fixed entity, incapable of significant change after a certain age, has been debunked by modern neuroscience. Neuroplasticity reveals that, at any point in life, the brain can form new pathways, strengthening positive behaviors while weakening those that no longer serve you. This is a profound opportunity to reprogram your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, and to reshape your life in alignment with your true potential. The foundation of rewiring your brain begins with awareness. To change your neural circuits, you must first recognize the patterns that are ingrained within your mind. These are often automatic, deeply embedded habits, thoughts, and emotional responses that have been reinforced over time. Some of these patterns may be beneficial, while others may hold you back, keeping you trapped in cycles of negative thinking or unproductive behaviors. It's essential to shine a light on these automatic processes and challenge them consciously. Once you've identified the areas that need transformation, the next step is to create new experiences that engage the brain in novel ways. The brain thrives on novelty. New experiences stimulate the production of neurochemicals like dopamine, which not only make you feel good, but also reinforce the creation of new neural pathways. This is why engaging in unfamiliar activities, trying new things, or stepping outside your comfort zone is essential for rewiring your brain. These actions force the brain to form new connections as it adapts to the novelty. To solidify these new connections, consistency is key. Just as it takes time for a habit to form, it takes repetition and consistency to cement new neural pathways. The more frequently you engage in a new thought pattern or behavior, the stronger the corresponding neural connections become. Over time, these new circuits become the default pathways your brain follows. Whether you're working to build a positive mindset, develop a new skill, or change your emotional responses, repetition is the mechanism that solidifies transformation. One of the most powerful tools for rewiring the brain is mindfulness. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation, allow you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, which helps interrupt old neural patterns. This form of awareness enables you to detach from habitual responses and gain control over your reactions. By regularly practicing mindfulness, you create space between stimulus and response, allowing for conscious decision-making that supports positive change. In this state, you're better equipped to choose thoughts and actions that align with your goals, rather than being governed by autopilot modes. Visualization also plays a crucial role in the rewiring process. When you visualize an action or behavior in vivid detail, your brain activates similar neural networks as though you are actually performing the action. This mental rehearsal primes your brain to act in accordance with your intentions, facilitating the creation of new neural pathways. Whether it's visualizing yourself succeeding in a new endeavor or imagining how you'll respond to challenges with calm and confidence, regular mental rehearsal strengthens the pathways that support these outcomes. Another important technique is the practice of affirmations. Repeating positive affirmations is a form of verbal reinforcement that can reprogram the subconscious mind. Words are powerful tools for shifting neural patterns. By consciously choosing empowering language, you direct your brain's attention toward your desired transformation. For instance, affirmations like "I am capable," "I am resilient," or "I embrace change" create neural connections that align with those beliefs. Over time, these repeated affirmations challenge old, limiting beliefs and replace them with new, empowering ones. Additionally, emotional experiences play a significant role in rewiring the brain. Emotional states create strong neural imprints because the brain tends to prioritize emotional information, storing it in a way that impacts future behavior. This is why major life events or deep emotional experiences can have lasting effects on your mindset and habits. By deliberately cultivating positive emotional experiences and associating them with new behaviors or thoughts, you can strengthen the neural pathways that promote desired changes. Celebrating small wins, expressing gratitude, and cultivating joy in the process of transformation make it easier for the brain to associate change with positive emotions. Physical movement is another powerful catalyst for rewiring the brain. Exercise stimulates the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that encourages the growth of new neural connections. Engaging in regular physical activity, especially activities that challenge coordination or involve complex motor skills, helps build a more resilient and adaptable brain. This is one reason why practices like yoga, tai chi, or dance can be especially effective for rewiring neural circuits. These activities integrate both the body and mind, fostering a deeper connection and reinforcing new patterns. Sleep is also a critical factor in rewiring the brain. It's during sleep that the brain consolidates new information and strengthens newly formed neural connections. Inadequate sleep or disrupted sleep patterns can hinder this process, preventing the brain from fully integrating new behaviors or ways of thinking. Prioritizing rest and creating healthy sleep habits ensures that the rewiring process continues undisturbed, allowing for sustained growth and transformation. The process of rewriting your brain's blueprint is both a science and an art. It requires patience, commitment, and a willingness to embrace the discomfort that often accompanies change. The brain, in its infinite capacity to adapt and evolve, offers you the chance to not only alter your behaviors, but to transform the way you perceive yourself and the world around you. By applying these techniques, whether it's through mindfulness, visualization, affirmations, physical movement, or emotional experiences, you can reshape the neural architecture that governs your life, paving the way for lasting, meaningful change. Through consistent effort, you'll gradually build a new mental framework, one that supports your highest potential. The brain's ability to rewire itself is a powerful tool in your journey toward personal growth and transformation. And with each new experience, you bring yourself closer to the life you envision. Chapter 6. Creating New Rituals for a Fresh Start. The foundation for lasting transformation lies in the rituals you weave into the fabric of your daily life. Rituals are not simply routines, they are purposeful, intentional practices that align your actions with your deeper aspirations. The power of rituals comes not from grand gestures, but from the consistency and commitment behind them. They serve as the anchors that keep you grounded and focused, even amidst life's inevitable distractions. Creating new rituals begins with identifying what truly matters to you. What are the aspirations you hold close to your heart? Whether it's personal growth, physical health, or professional success, your rituals should be aligned with these values. The rituals you establish become a reflection of who you are and who you are becoming. Therefore, it's important that the habits you choose not only support your goals, but also resonate with your core beliefs. The beauty of rituals is in their simplicity. You don't need to reinvent the wheel or craft complex systems. Start with small, manageable practices that can be easily integrated into your daily life. These small steps, when taken consistently, create a ripple effect that builds momentum toward greater transformation. For example, if you're aiming for better physical health, a morning stretch routine or a simple 10-minute walk can set the tone for the day, signaling to your body that it is valued and cared for. Over time, this seemingly small action becomes an integral part of your routine, supporting your overall wellness goals. The key to creating effective rituals lies in their consistency. It's not about doing more, but about doing it regularly. Repetition breeds mastery and ingrains the desired behavior into your neural pathways, making it feel automatic over time. This is why it's better to start small and commit to those rituals consistently rather than attempting to overhauling your life overnight. The brain doesn't respond well to drastic changes. It responds best to gradual shifts that feel sustainable. Rituals also act as a form of self-care and self-respect. By committing time each day to your well-being, you reinforce the message that your personal growth is worth prioritizing. This practice of self-respect builds confidence and fosters a deeper sense of empowerment. When you honor yourself with rituals that promote your well-being, you are affirming that you are deserving of success, health, and happiness. It's important to recognize that rituals don't have to be complicated to be powerful. A ritual might be as simple as setting aside a few minutes in the morning for reflection, where you center your thoughts and mentally prepare for the day ahead. This could involve journaling, meditating, or simply setting intentions for the day. Such practices, when repeated daily, cultivate mindfulness and awareness, which serve as the bedrock for making intentional choices throughout the day. The beauty of rituals also lies in their flexibility. They don't need to look the same every day to be effective. There will be days when the demands of life shift, but this doesn't mean that your rituals should fall by the wayside. Instead, create adaptable rituals that can flow with the rhythm of your life. If you can't commit to an hour of exercise one day, perhaps a shorter, more accessible version, like 5 minutes of stretching or a brisk walk, can still support your physical goals without feeling like a failure. This adaptability helps to eliminate feelings of guilt or frustration that can arise from not meeting expectations, allowing you to maintain momentum even when circumstances change. As you create new rituals, it's important to engage all aspects of your being, body, mind, and spirit. For instance, if you are focused on mental clarity and emotional well-being, a ritual of gratitude at the start or end of each day can shift your perspective. Simply taking time to reflect on what you are grateful for helps train your mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. This small shift in perspective can have a profound impact on your overall sense of joy and fulfillment. Similarly, spiritual rituals such as prayer, meditation, or reflection on your values serve to nourish the soul. These rituals don't require religious affiliation. They are about connecting with something larger than yourself, fostering a sense of purpose, and gaining clarity in your life's direction. Whether it's taking a quiet moment for reflection, engaging in mindfulness, or spending time in nature, these spiritual practices can ground you and keep you centered, especially during times of stress or uncertainty. The process of building new rituals is inherently personal. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay. The key is to experiment and find practices that resonate with you. Create rituals that align with your vision, support your growth, and bring you joy. For instance, if you value creativity, set aside time each day to engage in something creative, whether it's writing, painting, or brainstorming new ideas. If you seek connection with others, make it a ritual to connect with someone each day, whether through a quick check-in with a friend, a heartfelt conversation with a family member, or even making new social connections. These rituals should be designed to gradually build upon each other. As you master one, it can serve as a foundation for the next. For example, you may begin with the ritual of waking up 15 minutes earlier to focus on your goals, and as this becomes part of your routine, you can add a morning workout or a habit of reading. Slowly, the cumulative effect of these small, deliberate actions leads to profound shifts in your mindset, habits, and life trajectory. Remember that rituals, though powerful, are not meant to be burdensome. They should feel like an act of self-love and self-compassion. They create space for you to show up fully as the person you are becoming, providing the foundation for sustained growth. The consistency of these rituals will propel you toward the realization of your goals and aspirations, one small step at a time. Each ritual serves as a building block, strengthening your resolve and ensuring that each day brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. Chapter 7. The role of emotions in your transformation. Emotions are not just fleeting feelings. They are powerful forces that shape every aspect of our lives. Often, they are the hidden engines behind our actions and reactions, driving our choices in ways we may not fully understand. The emotional triggers that lie beneath the surface have a profound impact on the habits we form, whether they are positive or destructive. These emotional responses, when left unchecked, can create patterns that reinforce behaviors that hold us back from achieving true transformation. Each emotional trigger serves as a signal, an unconscious prompt that often sends us into automatic responses. These responses are not always grounded in logic, but are instead deeply rooted in past experiences, fears, and ingrained beliefs. For example, feelings of anxiety might trigger a tendency to procrastinate, or feelings of inadequacy might prompt overcompensation through perfectionism. These emotions become tightly interwoven with our habits, and without awareness, they perpetuate the very cycles that we seek to break. Recognizing the emotional patterns that fuel our behaviors is the first step in taking control of our transformation. It's not enough to merely understand that emotions are driving us. We must take the time to observe and identify the specific emotions that arise in key moments. What emotions trigger your urge to reach for unhealthy comforts? What emotions arise when you feel stuck in an old routine? These emotional clues are the key to understanding the root causes of your habits. Understanding emotions is not about suppressing or avoiding them. It's about learning to respond to them in a way that aligns with your values and goals. Often, we react impulsively to emotions because we haven't learned to sit with them and examine their origin. It's easy to fall into patterns of avoidance or numbing when faced with uncomfortable feelings, but this only entrenches old cycles. To create lasting change, we must learn how to face our emotions head-on, not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. The ability to manage emotions effectively becomes an essential skill for breaking free from old cycles. When you stop allowing your emotions to dictate your actions, you gain the power to choose how to respond. This doesn't mean denying or repressing what you feel. It means giving yourself permission to experience emotions fully without being controlled by them. It's about creating a space between feeling and action, where you can decide how to respond in a way that aligns with your higher self. The process of emotional mastery begins with awareness. Each time you feel an intense emotion, pause and reflect. What is the emotional trigger behind this response? Are you reacting from a place of fear, insecurity, or past trauma? Understanding the emotional roots of your reactions provides you with invaluable insight into why certain behaviors have become ingrained. The more you practice recognizing these emotional triggers, the easier it becomes to separate them from your automatic responses. Once you have recognized the emotions that drive your behavior, the next step is learning how to manage them consciously. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. Rather, it means creating new emotional habits that serve you better. For instance, if stress often triggers you to overeat or procrastinate, practice engaging in a different behavior when you feel stressed, such as taking a walk, practicing deep breathing, or journaling. The more you choose a different response, the more you begin to rewire your brain, replacing old habits with new ones. In moments of emotional intensity, it's easy to be swept away by the tide of feelings, allowing them to dictate your actions. But by learning to pause, breathe, and reflect, you interrupt the cycle of automatic emotional responses. This creates an opportunity to act with intention rather than impulse. Over time, this practice of emotional regulation becomes second nature, allowing you to handle even the most difficult emotions with grace and wisdom. The connection between emotions and habits is not one-sided. Just as emotions fuel our habits also shape our emotional landscape. The more you cultivate positive habits, such as daily exercise, mindful eating, or meditation, the more you begin to change the way you experience and process emotions. Positive habits create a foundation of stability and balance, which in turn helps you respond to emotions from a place of strength rather than being overwhelmed by them. Another critical aspect of managing emotions effectively is self-compassion. When we are faced with emotional triggers, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, especially when we fall into old patterns. Yet, self-criticism only fuels negative emotions, creating a vicious cycle. Instead, practicing self-compassion means acknowledging your emotional experience without judgment. You learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend. This shift in mindset allows you to approach emotional triggers with a sense of curiosity rather than fear or shame. Developing emotional resilience is essential for overcoming the emotional roadblocks that keep you stuck in old cycles. Life is filled with challenges and setbacks, and it's inevitable that emotions like frustration, anger, or sadness will arise. The key is not to avoid these feelings, but to build resilience by learning how to navigate them. This can be achieved through mindfulness, grounding exercises, or seeking support when needed. By building emotional resilience, you create the mental and emotional strength to face challenges without falling back into old habits. As you begin to transform your relationship with emotions, you unlock a deeper level of self-mastery. You no longer react impulsively, but instead choose how you respond to situations and feelings. The power to change your habits lies within your ability to harness the energy of your emotions and use them as a force for positive growth. By understanding and managing emotions effectively, you create the space for true transformation, breaking free from the cycles that once held you captive. Chapter 8. The Mindful Path to Self-Discovery. Mindfulness is more than a practice. It is a way of being, an approach to life that involves full engagement with the present moment. In the midst of life's constant demands, it is easy to become disconnected from ourselves, our bodies, and our minds. We often find ourselves rushing through tasks, constantly planning for the future, or dwelling on the past. This disconnect keeps us from the insight and clarity needed to embark on a meaningful journey of transformation. Mindfulness allows us to slow down, tune in, and discover the layers of our true selves that have long been hidden beneath the surface. To begin a path of mindful self-discovery, it is essential to understand the nature of the mind. The mind is often like a river, constantly flowing, sometimes turbulent, filled with thoughts, judgments, and distractions. Most of us are swept along by this current, carried by whatever thought or emotion arises. However, by practicing mindfulness, we learn to step back and observe the flow of our thoughts rather than becoming entangled in them. This distance allows us to see more clearly what lies beneath the surface of our consciousness. In the stillness, we begin to uncover truths about ourselves that have been obscured by the noise of daily life. Mindfulness helps us detach from automatic patterns and reactions that dominate our behavior. The present moment, when fully embraced, reveals the habitual thoughts and emotions that control our actions. Through presence, we can observe our tendency to react out of fear, insecurity, or conditioning, and we can choose a different response. This awareness is the first step in breaking free from old cycles. Instead of operating from an unconscious state, we begin to engage with life from a place of conscious awareness, where every decision is informed by intention and clarity. This process of mindful self-discovery isn't limited to quiet moments of meditation. It is woven into the fabric of everyday life. Whether we are eating, walking, working, or interacting with others, mindfulness can be practiced in each moment. The key is to bring attention to what is happening right now, without judgment or distraction. When we focus on the present, we are able to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without being swept away by them. This practice deepens our understanding of ourselves and provides the insight needed to navigate life's challenges with greater ease. One of the most powerful aspects of mindfulness is its ability to reveal the subconscious beliefs and patterns that influence our behavior. Often, we operate from a place of deeply ingrained programming that shapes how we see the world and ourselves. These patterns, formed by past experiences and societal conditioning, dictate our actions without our awareness. Through mindfulness, we begin to see these patterns clearly. We may notice how certain beliefs about our worth, success, or relationships impact our choices. Once we become aware of these unconscious patterns, we gain the power to change them. To truly embrace mindfulness as a tool for change, it is important to cultivate a non-judgmental attitude towards ourselves. Self-compassion is essential on the journey of self-discovery. When we practice mindfulness, we may uncover aspects of ourselves that we find uncomfortable or unflattering. It is easy to fall into self-criticism at these moments, but such judgments only hinder our progress. Mindfulness invites us to approach ourselves with kindness and curiosity, seeing every discovery, whether positive or negative, as an opportunity for growth. Instead of rejecting parts of ourselves, we learn to accept them with compassion, creating the foundation for lasting transformation. The more we practice mindfulness, the more we begin to notice the subtle shifts in our thoughts and behaviors. With increased awareness, we can break free from patterns of self-sabotage, negative self-talk, and unconscious decision-making. By simply observing our inner world without interference, we create space for new choices to emerge. In this space, we can respond to life with greater clarity and intention. This practice not only leads to personal growth, but also deepens our connection to others as we become more present in our interactions and more attuned to the needs of those around us. In moments of stillness, we may also uncover a deeper sense of purpose. Often, we are so caught up in the hustle of life that we forget to ask ourselves what truly matters. Mindfulness encourages us to return to the heart of who we are and what we want to create in the world. It allows us to connect with our values, passions, and desires, offering clarity about the direction we want our lives to take. When we are fully present, we align with our true essence, and from this place of alignment, we can take meaningful steps toward realizing our dreams. To practice mindfulness is to practice presence, not just in quiet moments, but in every facet of life. It is the art of being fully engaged in whatever you are doing, whether it is a mundane task or a significant decision. By bringing our attention back to the present moment, we unlock the power of clarity and insight that guides us on our journey. As we cultivate mindfulness in our daily lives, we begin to experience transformation on a deeper level, an awakening to who we truly are and what we are capable of becoming. Each moment becomes an opportunity for self-discovery, growth, and the creation of the life we desire. Chapter 9. Strengthening your willpower. Willpower is often seen as an innate trait, something some people are just born with and others aren't. However, willpower is not a static force. It can be cultivated and strengthened over time. It is the inner resilience that drives us to stay committed to our goals despite obstacles, distractions, and temptations. At its core, willpower is the muscle of the mind. The more we train it, the stronger it becomes. One of the first steps in strengthening willpower is understanding that it operates much like physical energy. It is finite and can be depleted with overuse. The myth of willpower being an unyielding force that we can tap into endlessly only sets us up for failure. It is essential to recognize that our willpower needs rest and replenishment, and without mindful management, it can easily be worn down. To truly build willpower, it's crucial to pace ourselves. Embrace the idea that small, consistent actions over time lead to lasting change, rather than relying on bursts of extreme effort. The first challenge in strengthening willpower is the need to build and sustain motivation. Motivation is often fueled by our sense of purpose. When we deeply connect with why we are pursuing a goal, our drive becomes more sustainable. Motivation thrives on clarity about our intentions, the outcomes we desire, and the benefits we will gain from reaching our destination. The clearer our understanding of the why, the stronger our internal resolve becomes. But motivation alone is not enough. It requires action to keep it alive. Consistent, intentional steps toward the goal nourish willpower and build momentum. Creating a structured environment can make the process of strengthening willpower much easier. When faced with distractions, we often struggle to stay on track. But by curating our environment to support our goals, we reduce the mental effort needed to make the right decisions. A well-designed environment acts as a guide, nudging us toward the behaviors we want to adopt. This might mean organizing your workspace, removing temptations from your home, or surrounding yourself with individuals who encourage and support your efforts. Environmental design reduces the reliance on willpower alone, making it easier to stay disciplined and focused. Building self-discipline also involves setting realistic expectations and embracing gradual progress. In the pursuit of any goal, especially one that requires a long-term commitment, it's tempting to expect immediate results. However, true growth comes from small, incremental changes. When we focus on the process rather than fixating on an instant outcome, we strengthen our resolve and create a solid foundation for enduring success. Patience with the journey is a powerful tool that nurtures willpower over time. It fosters resilience and removes the fear of failure, which can often derail progress. One of the most important insights in developing willpower is learning to deal with temptation and the inevitable challenges that arise. there will always be moments where we are faced with choices that test our commitment. It is during these moments that our willpower is truly put to the test. But resistance doesn't have to come from a place of force or sheer determination. Often it's about creating the mental space to respond to temptation differently. Practicing mindfulness and self-awareness gives us the clarity to make choices that align with our long-term goals, rather than succumbing to the immediate gratification of the moment. Another key strategy is reframing challenges as opportunities to strengthen willpower. Every difficulty we face is a chance to grow our mental fortitude. The more we view setbacks not as failures but as lessons, the more we learn to persist through adversity. Willpower thrives when we embrace discomfort and see it as a necessary part of the process. Just as muscles tear and rebuild stronger through physical exertion, our mental muscles grow through moments of challenge. When we stop avoiding discomfort and instead welcome it, we find ourselves more capable of overcoming any obstacle that comes our way. In addition to managing external factors, taking care of our internal resources is crucial to maintaining willpower. Our physical health, our sleep, nutrition, and exercise plays an essential role in how resilient our minds are. When we neglect these aspects of our well-being, our willpower suffers. By prioritizing self-care, we equip our body and mind with the energy they need to tackle challenges head-on. Healthy habits like regular exercise and balanced nutrition support mental clarity and reduce stress, both of which contribute to stronger willpower. Another powerful tool in strengthening willpower is self-compassion. It is easy to be hard on ourselves when we fall short of our goals. Self-criticism, however, can drain our energy and undermine our resolve. Instead of punishing ourselves, we must approach setbacks with kindness and understanding. Acknowledge the slip-ups, but use them as lessons rather than signs of failure. When we treat ourselves with compassion, we are more likely to stay committed and bounce back quickly, rather than succumbing to the cycle of guilt and defeat. Finally, setting small, manageable goals makes it easier to maintain willpower. Large, overwhelming objectives can be paralyzing, especially when progress seems slow. Breaking down big goals into smaller, actionable steps allows us to maintain momentum and experience regular wins. These small victories serve as reinforcement, boosting our confidence and fueling the energy needed to keep pushing forward. Each completed step acts as a reminder of our progress and strengthens our resolve to continue. Willpower is not about brute force. It is about consistency, strategy, and resilience. It requires patience, discipline, and the ability to navigate life's distractions with clarity and purpose. When we take deliberate actions to build willpower and nurture it, we not only achieve our goals, but develop the strength of character needed to overcome any challenge. Chapter 10. Embracing setbacks as stepping stones. Setbacks are an inevitable part of any journey, but they don't define the end of the road. In fact, they can be a crucial part of the process, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and emerge stronger. The difference between those who succeed and those who falter often lies not in the absence of failure, but in how they respond to it. When facing a setback, the initial reaction is often one of frustration, disappointment, or even self-doubt. The sting of failure can feel personal, as though it is a reflection of our abilities or worth. However, this perception can be limiting. Instead of viewing failure as a final verdict on our capabilities, it should be seen as a momentary detour, a chance to reassess and refine our approach. By reframing failure as a natural, even necessary part of growth, we can begin to see setbacks not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace. It is through facing adversity that we build resilience, wisdom, and the persistence needed to reach our full potential. The first step in embracing setbacks is changing our mindset. When failure occurs, it often signals that we have pushed the boundaries of our comfort zone. We ventured into unknown territory, and while we may not have succeeded in that attempt, the experience has expanded our understanding. Each failure contains valuable lessons about what works, what doesn't, and what could be done differently. The most successful individuals have often failed the most because they dared to take risks and view failure as feedback rather than defeat. It is through these lessons that they refine their strategies, retool their efforts, and continue moving forward with even greater determination. One of the most powerful ways to embrace setbacks is by detaching our self-worth from our outcomes. It is all too easy to identify ourselves with our achievements or failures, but this creates an unstable foundation. If our sense of value is based solely on success, we may crumble in the face of failure. True strength comes from understanding that our worth is not determined by one moment, one action, or one result. We are not defined by our successes alone, nor by our failures. Instead, we are defined by our commitment to growth, our ability to persevere, and our willingness to keep striving, no matter the obstacle. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, is built through conscious practice and emotional awareness. When we encounter a setback, it can trigger a series of emotional reactions: frustration, anger, or even despair. However, allowing ourselves to sit with these emotions rather than avoiding or suppressing them can be immensely helpful. It is in accepting and processing these feelings that we find the strength to move past them. In these moments of emotional turbulence, we can cultivate resilience by focusing on what we can control and taking small, manageable steps toward recovery. Resilience doesn't mean ignoring the pain of setbacks. It means acknowledging the discomfort and choosing to move forward, one step at a time. A powerful way to bounce back stronger after a setback is by reorienting our energy towards solutions instead of dwelling on problems. When setbacks occur, it's natural to focus on what went wrong, but this can keep us trapped in a cycle of negativity. Instead, the key is to ask ourselves constructive questions. What can I learn from this experience? How can I adjust my approach? What new skills or perspectives have I gained? Shifting the focus from blame to growth opens up the space needed to find creative solutions and move beyond the setback. In addition to reframing setbacks as learning experiences, it is also crucial to practice self-compassion. Too often, we are our harshest critics when things don't go as planned. We berate ourselves for not being perfect or for not achieving our goals as quickly as we expected. Yet this negative self-talk only serves to weaken our resolve. Embracing setbacks requires a level of kindness and patience with ourselves. Rather than condemning ourselves for every misstep, we should treat ourselves as we would a close friend, offering encouragement, understanding, and the reminder that mistakes are part of the process. This shift in perspective fosters a sense of inner peace, which is essential for rebuilding momentum after a setback. Additionally, surrounding ourselves with a supportive community can greatly enhance our ability to overcome setbacks. The people we choose to spend time with have a significant influence on our mindset and resilience. When we are struggling, a compassionate friend or mentor can help us reframe the situation, offer advice, or simply remind us of our strengths. The power of community lies not just in receiving support, but also in giving it. By sharing our challenges with others and offering encouragement in return, we reinforce our own sense of agency and growth. It's in these shared experiences that we often find new strength and inspiration to keep moving forward. When setbacks occur, it's also important to stay flexible in our approach. Life rarely goes according to plan, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances is crucial for long-term success. The ability to pivot when things aren't working, rather than rigidly sticking to a failed plan, is often what separates those who thrive from those who give up. The most successful people are often those who have encountered the most failures, but they've also developed the agility to adapt and adjust their strategies as needed. This adaptability becomes a powerful tool for overcoming setbacks and using them as stepping stones toward a greater goal. Finally, viewing setbacks as opportunities for transformation is essential. Growth does not happen in a straight line. It often takes unexpected turns, detours, and pauses along the way. Every setback is a moment to re-evaluate our goals, adjust our mindset, and become more attuned to what we truly want to achieve. With each setback, we develop deeper resilience, more creativity, and a stronger commitment to our path. Through this process of continual growth, we emerge stronger, wiser, and better equipped to face whatever challenges lie ahead. In the end, setbacks are not failures. They are stepping stones. When we embrace them as such, we unlock our true potential and pave the way for sustained success. Each challenge, each obstacle, is an opportunity to refine our skills, strengthen our resolve, and continue our journey toward our ultimate goals. Chapter 11. Sustaining your transformation for the long term. The initial spark of change is often the easiest part of any transformation journey. It's the excitement of starting something new, the thrill of progress, and the motivation that comes from envisioning a better version of yourself. However, sustaining that transformation over the long term requires a deeper commitment, a resilient mindset, and the ability to consistently adapt and reflect on your growth. The key to lasting change lies in cultivating a mindset that can weather the inevitable challenges and setbacks that will arise. This resilience is not simply about bouncing back after difficulties, but about maintaining a positive, growth-oriented perspective even during moments of stagnation. Life will not always present you with smooth, unbroken paths, and there will be times when progress feels slow or elusive. During these moments, resilience becomes your anchor, allowing you to keep moving forward even when the journey seems uncertain. A resilient mindset is one that remains focused on the long-term vision, rather than becoming discouraged by temporary difficulties. It requires a shift in perception, seeing obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth. When faced with challenges, those who sustain their transformation are able to adjust their thinking and strategies, keeping their eye on the larger goal. They understand that transformation is a marathon, not a sprint, and that lasting change is built through consistent, incremental steps rather than overnight success. One of the most powerful tools in maintaining this mindset is self-reflection. Transformation is not a one-time event, but a continuous process that requires ongoing evaluation. Without self-reflection, it is easy to lose sight of your progress or fall into old patterns of thinking and behavior. Regular reflection provides clarity on where you've been, where you are, and where you are headed. It helps you understand what is working in your transformation and what areas may need further attention. This practice of reflection is not about judgment or criticism, but about cultivating awareness of your journey and being honest with yourself about your challenges and successes. The process of self-reflection can take many forms. For some, it may involve journaling, where thoughts and feelings are put into words, creating a clear record of growth and struggle. For others, it may mean meditative practices or quiet moments of contemplation that allow them to tune into their thoughts and emotions. The important aspect is not the method, but the act of regularly taking time to pause and assess your journey. Through reflection, you are able to check in with your values, ensure your actions align with your goals, and adjust your course as needed. Another important aspect of sustaining long-term transformation is continuous growth. Transformation is not static. It requires a mindset of lifelong learning and improvement. You must constantly seek out new knowledge, skills, and experiences that will further deepen your understanding and help you evolve. This could mean setting new goals, exploring new areas of interest, or taking on new challenges that push you outside of your comfort zone. The willingness to evolve is what differentiates those who stagnate from those who continue to grow. It is through continuous growth that we continue to develop the resilience and capacity to adapt to changing circumstances, ensuring that our transformation endures. To truly sustain transformation, it is crucial to surround yourself with an environment that supports and reinforces your growth. Your surroundings, including the people you engage with, the spaces you occupy, and the influences you expose yourself to, all play a significant role in your ability to maintain long-term change. Just as your environment can help spark transformation, it can also hinder it if it is not aligned with your goals. Surrounding yourself with people who share your vision or who encourage your progress is essential. Likewise, creating spaces that promote focus, peace, and creativity can help you stay grounded and motivated. Equally important is the practice of celebrating small wins along the way. It's easy to get lost in the long-term goal and overlook the progress you've made. Celebrating even the smallest achievements reinforces positive behavior, boosts confidence, and reminds you that your efforts are leading somewhere. This practice also provides motivation to continue moving forward, especially during times when the journey feels arduous or when the end goal seems distant. Acknowledging and celebrating progress keeps you connected to the momentum of your transformation, preventing burnout and maintaining the energy necessary for sustained growth. Building a resilient mindset and engaging in continuous self-reflection also means learning how to manage distractions and setbacks that can derail progress. One of the most critical elements of sustaining transformation is the ability to stay focused on your purpose despite external pressures. The world is filled with distractions, shifting trends, societal expectations, and daily challenges that can pull your attention away from your goals. By strengthening your ability to focus, setting clear boundaries, and cultivating discipline, you create the mental space needed to stay committed to your long-term transformation. Another vital component in sustaining change is self-compassion. Transformation often comes with moments of frustration, doubt, and self-criticism. During these times, it's essential to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer to others. Growth is a messy, non-linear process, and expecting perfection can hinder progress. Embrace the fact that setbacks will happen, and rather than being discouraged, use them as an opportunity to learn, adjust, and move forward with a renewed sense of commitment. By practicing self-compassion, you ensure that your journey toward transformation remains sustainable and does not burn out under the weight of unrealistic expectations. Sustaining transformation for the long term is not about a dramatic, all-at-once overhaul. It's about making consistent, deliberate choices every day that align with your vision for growth. This process requires persistence, patience, and a deep understanding that true transformation is built on small, repeated actions which compound over time. By maintaining a resilient mindset, committing to ongoing self-reflection, and fostering a culture of growth and self-compassion, you ensure that your transformation becomes not just a phase, but a lifelong journey. Chapter 12. Living your life unbound. Freedom is not just the absence of constraints, it's the presence of infinite possibilities. When you break free from the habits that have held you back, you are stepping into a life that is limitless, where every moment is an opportunity to redefine who you are and what you can achieve. True liberation comes from within, from shedding the beliefs and patterns that have kept you tethered to a version of yourself that no longer serves your highest potential. When you start to live unbound, the weight of old habits and limiting beliefs is lifted. The past no longer has the power to define you, and you begin to experience a deep sense of relief and excitement. In the absence of these restrictions, you find clarity about your true desires and a sense of direction that was clouded by your previous struggles. The liberation you experience is not a one-time event, but a continuous unfolding, where each day offers a chance to expand into a new version of yourself. In this new space, you are free to create a life that resonates with your deepest values and passions. You can now make decisions based on what truly excites and fulfills you, rather than being influenced by fear, doubt, or the expectations of others. The confidence that arises from this newfound freedom is not rooted in arrogance, but in an inner knowing that you are aligned with your purpose. You are no longer constrained by the beliefs that once kept you in a cycle of self-doubt or unfulfilling patterns. Instead, you embrace the full range of your potential, understanding that you are capable of much more than you previously imagined. Living unbound means giving yourself permission to step into the unknown, to explore new opportunities without the fear of failure holding you back. You are no longer living in the shadow of what could go wrong, but embracing the unknown as a fertile ground for growth. It's about trusting yourself enough to take risks, knowing that even in moments of uncertainty, you will find the strength to navigate whatever comes your way. This freedom allows you to experiment, learn, and evolve, rather than staying trapped in a comfort zone that stifles progress. One of the most profound aspects of living unbound is the ability to embrace change as a natural and essential part of life. Change no longer feels like a threat, but a companion on your journey of growth. With each new chapter, you welcome the unknown with curiosity, knowing that it holds lessons and opportunities that are essential for your personal development. You are no longer attached to a fixed identity or outcome, but are open to the fluidity of life, understanding that growth often requires stepping into new versions of yourself that may look very different from the one you started with. Breaking free from old habits also opens up a deeper connection to the present moment. When you are no longer bound by old patterns or self-imposed limitations, you are more able to experience life as it is, not as you expect or fear it to be. This presence allows you to truly appreciate the richness of each moment, to savor the beauty of what is around you, and to fully engage with the world in a way that feels authentic and fulfilling. The liberation you experience does not mean that challenges will cease to exist, but it allows you to approach them from a place of empowerment. You no longer view obstacles as insurmountable, but as opportunities for growth and learning. This shift in perspective allows you to handle life's difficulties with grace and resilience, knowing that they are part of your ongoing transformation. Living your life unbound also involves nurturing a sense of celebration for the person you are becoming. Every step of the way, there is something to honor in yourself: the courage to change, the wisdom to learn from your experiences, and the strength to rise above the past. Each victory, no matter how small, is a reminder of the power within you to create the life you want. By celebrating yourself and your journey, you cultivate a deeper sense of appreciation for the process of transformation and reinforce the belief that you are worthy of the freedom you have fought for. In this space of freedom, you begin to see the world as full of limitless possibilities. No longer weighed down by self-doubt or fear of failure, you're free to dream bigger, aim higher, and pursue paths that once seemed out of reach. The barriers that once held you back dissolve, and you realize that your potential is not limited by anything other than the scope of your imagination. Living unbound means embracing your inherent power to create, explore, and expand, and to see every day as an opportunity to shape a future that is as expansive as your vision. This freedom is not something that is given to you. It is something you claim for yourself through the conscious choices you make and the mindset you cultivate. It requires the courage to let go of what no longer serves you and the strength to continue evolving even when the road ahead is unclear. It is the commitment to living authentically, unapologetically, and with full awareness of your own power to create the life you desire. Living unbound is the ultimate act of self-liberation. It is the declaration that you are no longer confined by the past, by others' expectations, or by your own limiting beliefs. You are free to create a life that reflects your deepest desires, and to celebrate the endless possibilities that unfold before you as you step into your full potential. Conclusion. You have ventured through the layers of your own mind, unraveling the stories and patterns that once defined you, and in doing so, you have uncovered the extraordinary potential that lies within. Transformation is not an event, but a process, one that doesn't end with the closing of these pages. It continues with each decision you make, every shift in perception, and every moment you choose to embrace your true power. The path to change is not a straight line, it is a winding road, full of both challenges and triumphs. But with every step you take, you become more attuned to your own strength, more connected to your purpose, and more aligned with the person you are meant to be. The tools and insights you've gathered along this journey are not fleeting. They are seeds planted deep within, ready to grow into the life you've always wanted. You are no longer bound by the limitations that once held you back. The habits, beliefs, and fears that once defined your existence have been questioned, and in their place, a new foundation is emerging. The possibilities before you are endless, and the future you desire is within your grasp. Remember, transformation is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up for yourself every day, making the choice to continue evolving, and understanding that every moment is an opportunity to step into a new version of yourself. Your journey has just begun, and with each new day, you will continue to grow, learn, and create the life that reflects the power and potential you've always had within you. Embrace this new chapter with the confidence that you are the architect of your own future, and with the knowledge that the transformation you seek is already unfolding. The question now is not what if, but what's next.